What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So yesterday we were talking about this game possibly being done this time next year in the sense of the plug being pulled. We were also talking about skin prices being way too high and how that is already a big problem that needs to be resolved, and then whether or not 2021 is either a make it or break it year in terms of the amount of DLC characters that will be added into this game. But that being said, we've got an article from Forbes about a big concern with the DLC characters that could quite literally destroy the remaining player base, and I think now as a whole is becoming a big problem for every single person that still plays this game. Now, I got a question for you all, and that question is, do you really feel we need more maps or just mission types in this game as opposed to DLC characters? So overall, the end game content. Let me know below, be completely transparent. As always, drop a like on this video, click that big red subscribe button below if you haven't already, and a quick reminder that Instant Gaming are doing a fantastic giveaway where they're doing up to 1,500 euros worth of video games, so if you haven't got involved in that, definitely do so. There's literally a few days left, and I mean, on top of that, they do a bunch of really cool games, brand new games for a ridiculously cheap price, so visit that link in the description below. Now, diving into this video, I want to pick it up with a comment from yesterday's video from a person who goes by the name Kairu Keith. Now, what they say is, I think 6 to 8 characters need to be added next year. One character per every 2 months with some extras. Now, the reason I brought this comment up specifically is because it links to what I'm about to say in a few moments from Paul Tassie's Forbes article. Now, interesting enough, the majority of people in the comments of yesterday's video did actually say that, you know, hey, yes, DLC characters are important for the next year, but hey, what about the endgame content still? Why are there no new maps? Now, this is a solid point, because technically, and I say technically very much emphasized because Cloning Labs, okay, which we still have no idea on its release day, is essentially a new map, right? But do we need more maps with essentially each DLC character, so a completely brand new area? Now, going back to the comment saying 6 to 8 characters for next year as a whole, which essentially would be one every 2 months with some extras, here's why that makes sense. So, Paul Tassie's article says, Marvel's Avengers needs to change course with one of its post-Hawkeye plans. Now, what he's going on about is they've basically already, it's too late, they've done the error with Hawkeye, so they just need to release him now, but if they continue in this same structure after Hawkeye, this is where the problem basically starts. Now, what he says is the following. One problem I can already see potentially happening is Crystal Dynamics spending time on characters that are not, well, just going to be terribly impactful. What I'm referring to here is what the game is planning with mirror characters. Now, the first of which is, of course, the pairing of Kate Bishop and Hawkeye. Hawkeye will have effectively the same gameplay as Kate, and the only difference is going to be the takedowns, special moves, and of course that, well, Hawkeye is a dude and Kate Bishop's not a dude, right? That's basically the only difference there. They're both archers, and they're going to play very similar. Now, what Paul Tassie continues to say is, I am not loving the idea of having to grind a completely separate version of Kate up to 50/150 again. Now, the alternative that would work for me is that if these characters are going to be introduced, I'd rather them simply be alternative and quote-unquote super skins, and that's essentially for the character that they are mirroring. So when Hawkeye arrives, he's essentially just a new skin for Kate, and I can have him be instantly as powerful as the Kate I've just spent a month building up. He just shows up with a few tweaks to things like finishers and his own skins if you choose to play his version. And then the focus would be on the truly new characters that are not clones of anyone, so i.e. here we're talking Black Panther, Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch, etc, which he does state he wouldn't mind starting from scratch with. It just seems like a waste of resources if even someone as into the game as I am feels exhausted by the prospect of re-leveling a nearly identical character. Now, I think this was spot on because we already know that there are going to be characters that are going to be clones of each other, and this is going off the leaks that we have, and the leaks are solid because, well, the leaks are from actual coding in the game files. So what he actually mentions is as well that for long-term plans, it's not the only instance where this may happen. So other mirror characters in the future would be people like Iron Man with War Machine, or should I say War Machine with Iron Man. Then you have Black Widow with Mockingbird, Captain Marvel with Marvel, and as well as possibly others like Hulk with She-Hulk and Ant-Man/Wasp. So I completely see this now being a big problem, and if I have to be entirely honest with you, it's not something that did spring into my mind straight away. It's something that I didn't even bother thinking about, nor just cared about. But when you actually see that this could be a situation, this is where you start to worry, because we know that, like he's already said, right, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, basically the same characters, they're both archers, and there's already these mirroring characters. Now, whether or not these characters all come with a new location, I'm not going to be entirely sure, but I don't think even if it did, it would be enough to basically resolve that problem, because I think one thing that's irritating for me is we know that certain missions cannot be done until your team have a certain power level, right, and we're talking individual characters. And I think it'd be annoying because, again, leveling up the characters is not easy. You do have to grind for it, and it's if it's not going to feel rewarding, you're just not going to bother doing it, right? Let's be completely honest. I mean, with my character like Kate Bishop, I do enjoy playing Kate Bishop, but I just can't really be bothered to, you know, just go ahead and try grinding to level that character up, because I feel like we have nothing worth doing it for anyway at this moment in time. So that's my first problem. I think just going through a recycling process of doing the same things just to level up is a complete big no-go in my opinion. But going back to the comment that we said at the start of the video, right, one character every 2 months, it completely worked, because if they're just going to be mirroring characters, there's not a whole bunch that needs to be changed besides the model in general. I mean, everything else in terms of the gameplay perspective, it's all going to be the same, right? Prime example, War Machine and Iron Man, that was spot on, right? It's the exact same character, you just got to change the skin. So why not, if it's going to be a mirror character, just you stick with Iron Man whatever level he's at, and essentially the War Machine is just a skin to an extent, and you can still play his version, but you're technically still with Iron Man's power level, because there's nothing different. I mean, you have to purchase takedowns, right, with real life money, so it's still not like something that gets unlocked and something that's going to be unique in that perspective. But at the same time, it's still where if they do focus way too much time on characters like this, then it just wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. And this is why I think one character every 2 months is realistic. If it's a brand new character, it may be a bit longer, but if it's mirroring, it needs to be as consistent as that. But guys, that's going to wrap up this video here. As always, subscribe for more awesome content. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day, and adios amigos.